This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Right, your consultant standing by. We'll take caller 9844999 to play profile this in minutes. And we do have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check into Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, the Erie Seawolves are a minor league baseball team in Pennsylvania, and on Saturday their ballpark sold hot dogs that used cotton candy as a bun with nerds as a topping.
Did that sell well?
They sold a whole handful of I'm not working on it.
Have you seen the picture?
No.
It doesn't look good.
No,
I have to think that people did not go crazy. Just because it can be done, in no way does that sound good.
And cotton candy, when you put it in your mouth, dissolves. Like I don't know
Even on your fingers.
Yeah, I don't know how the hot dog.
Yeah, it sounds kind
I
of
really
a
like.
soupy...
I just didn't. It's not that I don't like a hot dog. I really enjoy a good bun with it.
Yeah, that's
Hot dog
part
bun,
of it.
Yeah, it's a part of the whole package. So for me, I would rather take the bun than the cotton candy.
Well, if you shove that hot dog into a donut, I'd eat it.
Yeah, it's because it's more bun-like. I mean, I'd eat it, but if I had a
because
choice,
it's a donut. What kind of donut?
Crispy.
Just give me a plain.
Maple bar.
what would you slice
bad
it down
call.
the middle
Yeah.
and then open it up?
Throw the hot dog in there.
Huh?
Wait a minute. This is not my idea. The Mariners aren't doing this at Safeco. Sorry.
Are you just remembering
put a
what they
hot
did
dog-
last
Just
year?
remembering it now.
Put a hot dog
yeah,
in a
that's
maple
Good
bar?
job, man. Good job. Proud of you.
Wow.
37% of Americans say that
Mariners.
they have a side hustle, according to a new survey.
A side hustle.
A side hustle.
How
Side
many?
hustle.
37%.
Oh, what other places would call a job? Another job. A second job. Like, oh, I'm working 2 jobs, 3 jobs.
They make an average of $686 a month, or approximately $8,200 a year.
When I think hustle, I don't think taxes are
I don't think
involved. You know what I mean?
legal.
Like,
Yeah.
right, exactly. When you say hustle to me, that means you're selling slacks out of the back of your van.
Why is everyone selling slacks to you, Miles?
Because you got slacks, you need slacks. I got plaid slacks, I got brown slacks, I got black slacks, I got gray slacks. I
Who
mean, it's
is
just
this
like,
black market slacks guy that you're
exactly.
finding?
He's got a side hustle. That's what I mean. Like, that's a side hustle.
Right.
A side hustle isn't, well, I spend a couple hours a week working at, at the local pharmacy. That's not a side hustle. That's a second job,
Second job,
unfortunately.
man.
Right.
A man in
Honestly, it's just a good term for
A second job.
Well, generation that doesn't get paid enough.
Right.
So now they'd be
Right.
like, you need a side hustle. It's cool.
Right.
No, it's
they'll
not.
get fired if somebody learns
You're
that they
right.
have
It
another job.
sounds better than
Right, it
second
sounds
job.
much better than being like, no, I work a job like my parents or grandparents did. I don't get paid
And
enough.
still no
Right.
insurance. Get it?
Yeah.
Side hustle.
A man in Colorado accidentally got released from jail early last month when officers confused him with another inmate, and he even forged that man's signature on his way out.
I would have too.
But his wife forced him to go back, and he was hit with a new charges for escape and forgery.
Sounds like his wife's got a little side hustle going
Yeah,
on.
the side hustle.
Oh, you're not coming home yet.
Yeah.
No. Ronnie's coming over tomorrow. Finish this deck, you know what I mean? Think you do. Get back to jail.
Side hustle.
A side hustle.
Oh, goodness. A fisherman was working about 3 miles out at sea in England over the weekend when 2 amateur pirates in an inflatable dinghy paddled up to him and stole his fish at knife point.
That's just wrong.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
2 amateur
Paddled
pirates in a
up.
dinghy.
In an inflatable dinghy.
And then took his
And
stuff.
stole his...
And then left.
Give me your
Yes.
stuff. The cops are still trying to track them down.
Yeah, because they rode away.
I'm Captain Crunch. Give me your damn fish. I'll gut you like a pig and leave your corpse in the water.
Technically, that is pirating.
I'll
That
tie
is-
you down with crunch
So
berries.
think about that. That's what a pirate, that's closer to what a pirate does than anything else. Like, that's modern day pirating.
It is. It's just Chrysler that came up and paddled up.
Their
and
ship, ship is, in fact, an inflatable dinghy is the difference.
That's a badass pirate right there.
A couple in New Jersey celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary last Friday by having a romantic dinner at Burger King.
Nothing says romance like a Whopper.
They've done it every year since their wedding in 1968.
And they're
Cheap
still
or
married.
frugal?
And they're still married. No, that's just circumstantial. That's
Sure.
But probably cheap.
Yeah, the first anniversary, they went to a Burger King, so they do it every year.
Yeah, see?
And, like, they were just like, but also they were like, yeah, just get something. We just got to hit the Burger King.
Yeah, and the next night, maybe go out somewhere or do something. You got to
Yeah.
stop in.
They also asked the dude what was the secret, and he said something like, a lot of space between us.
Oh, wow.
Leave her at
Oh,
home
okay.
alone for long periods of time.
Yeah, well, that's what Al Gore did at Tipper. They used to go to Wendy's. Until he decided to roll over that towel. Look who's excited. Uh-oh. Well, now. Hey, you're not going to... Are you leaving? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Hold on. Come on, take care of Big Al. And then no more Wendy's. Yeah, kind of went down like that. I don't have the audio, but if in my head, if I was there, I was a fly on the wall in the Hotel Lucia. Oh, hey, Big Al's going to... Oh, look who's excited to be here in Portland. Hello, everybody.
It's an inconvenient truth that I have an erection right now.
I'm a trailblazer in the world of happiness.
Oh, goodness. Science has finally figured out why a leaky faucet makes such an annoying sound.
Repetition? You're not working on it.
Actually, Miles, it has to do with tiny air bubbles that get trapped into the surface in your drain every time you drop water hits.
Well, you just got so... He was working on it. So what, tiny air bubbles?
Tiny air bubbles. They get trapped into the surface in your drain.
Maybe Don Ho is a cry for help.
But I think it is just a repetition. Let's see. It says, should adults listen to lullabies? There's a writer at Mashable.com who says she listens to the lullaby version of popular music and it helps her relax and fall asleep.
Why don't you go back to Shut the Hell Up Island?
I actually did find this years ago. I think it's called like Rockabye or Rockababy, something like that.
Yeah, Rockababy.
Rockababy, whatever.
Listen,
try
man.
to go to sleep, though.
People gave it to me for my kids when they were infants. And to be fair, against other lullabies, absolutely, I'm gonna. It has like Metallica, it has Tool.
Yeah.
But listen, it's better than the alternative. I still wanted to beat it with a sledgehammer.
Anything that's relaxing in that vein is good. Even if it's like, they used to sell clocks that sound like the beach or the ocean or different stuff, and some just do white noise, so anything that's relaxing.
Those that play Dave Matthews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
People aren't just ghosting their dates.
I'm in bed, I did it, you did it. Just took one Dave Matthews song. I was freaking out.
I hit white noise that Dave Matthews played. What the hell?
I mean, there's
that what I signed up for?
I got 40 seconds through Jimmy thing, and I was out.
What'd you say?
Oh, God. It's just like Charlottesville when I was a Kappa.
People aren't just ghosting their dates anymore. Now they're ghosting jobs.
Oh, that's good.
According to a job recruiters, there's a huge trend of people vanishing at different points during the hiring process, including doing things like not showing up to an interview or even taking a job but then never coming in.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
No.
What are the jobs, though? I mean, is it just like a random job? Or, I mean, if you're trying to build like a career in that field, that wouldn't be good, but I don't know.
You've been ghosting jobs, Ted?
Is it a new trend, or do they just have a word for it, and now they...
Wait, is he going to come back to haunt me that I never went back for the second interview at the driving range?
Well, it is now that you brought it up, Ted.
Yeah.
Should have kept that under wraps.
Would you get to pick up the balls, do you think?
I mean, if I had the job, maybe I got to drive that cart, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, what could have been?
A pizza delivery driver in New York got into a wreck on Saturday and wasn't seriously injured but had to go to the hospital, so firefighters took over and delivered the pizza.
All right, that's a stand-up move.
They deliver babies. They deliver pizza.
That's a really stand-up move. Because I would have eaten it.
Yeah, you know what? There's no doubt.
Like, look, we got to take this guy to the hospital. Like, on the way, you're just macking on it. Like, dude.
I'd have done it shirtless if I was a firefighter.
Okay.
And one of the firefighters was arrested.
Here's your pizza, and I'm shirtless.
If you look at the pepperoni, it looks like the nipples on my chest, yeah?
Exactly. It's like, why would you
remember that when you take a bite? It's like crispy nipples on top, yeah?
Wow. Crispy nipples.
Try new crispy nipples from Domino's.
All right.
Damn it. A woman in Montana had to get crafty to get her ex to have sex with her.
What's that?
I'll tell you all about it 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Cock. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now. First, the game is...
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Stephen, throw a hug, and you please tell everyone how Profile This is played.
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Gianni. Welcome to the Men's Room.
How you doing?
Hola. How you doing? How you doing? All right, Gianni, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. Here's your story. A man is being investigated by the school that he works at for a Facebook post that railed against white children eating in a Harlem restaurant while he was there. That's right. They have the audacity to eat at the same time. The post read, quote, okay, officially, I now hate white people. For God's sakes, but can we keep them out of my neighborhood? He complained about going to Harlem Shake. It's a restaurant known for its burgers and shakes, saying it was, quote, overrun with little Caucasian a-holes who know their parents will approve of anything they do. Well, he acknowledged to Fox News that he wrote the post and he stands by it, but he declined to comment further. And a follow-up post on Facebook, he questioned why Facebook removed his original post in the first place. Quote, I just don't want little Caucasians overrunning my life like they did last night. Please, God, remand them to the suburbs where they and their parents can colonize every restaurant, all the while pretending that the idiotic indulgence of their privilege signifies cosmopolitan, as sophisticated European commitments. He continues to lose his mind. Anyway, this guy, who's very unapologetic about this, by the way, do you believe he's black, white, Mexi, or Jew?
Well, you would think you could eliminate the white part, but I'm not sure about that.
This was in the Bronx, you said?
Harlem.
Harlem Shake.
Yeah,
Harlem Shake.
Harlem Shake's the name of the joint, right?
Okay.
And it's a shake and burger joint.
All right.
Based on the location, you would think black, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like a gimme, so there's got to be a catch here.
Saying you don't trust me?
Well, I mean, Harlem's not what Harlem used to be.
Right. It's
I mean,
not as
a lot
of
of inner city,
Okay.
a lot of cities have kind of
especially there in New York City.
New
Come
York
on.
City,
Yeah.
right? Like
Maybe Jewish or white.
I'm gonna say just because it seems too obvious to not be white, I'm gonna say white.
White final answer, Gianni?
Yes, sir.
man,
I think Gianni might be right. I know some of these crazy white people.
If this was in Seattle, I'd definitely be right.
I'm still going black.
Okay. All right, you sticking with it, Gianni? White final answer?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to find out if he was black, white, Mexican, or Jewish next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bichola. You have entered the men's room.
All right, profile this. We got a guy ranting on Facebook about some white kids at a burger place called Harlem Shake. And I guess he just doesn't like them being there because he doesn't feel they should be in the area.
He doesn't believe they should be there, at least at that restaurant. Go back to the suburbs, blah, 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 blah. On and on and on it goes. But, Gianni, we asked you, did you believe this guy was black, white, Mexi, or Jew? In the end, you said, man, it seems obvious you have to go black, but for that reason, as though you do not trust me, that's what I got out of that, you went with white. You are correct, sir. Yeah, look at this guy. Hang on. There he is. Yeah.
But how can he be that
I don't
angry if he's in Harlem?
I didn't even read. I read about half of the Facebook post that was available to me. I mean, it gets worse, and I'm just like, dude, what? Who are you? I don't get it. Because even the owners of the place, these two black people, they're like, yeah, you're banned from here, man. We just don't,
we don't like racists.
We're cool. We're cool with everybody, man.
Now for all TV news all the time. Time for TV Time with Tim.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
So you know how like every sports league now has their awards show at the end of the season?
Of course.
So it used to be people just got named league, whatever, this or that. But now they have an award show. People go to them. You can get the set awards. Mm-hmm. So Bill Russell, if you don't know who Bill Russell is, he played for the Celtics back in like the heyday.
Sure.
When they won. I want to say he won like 12
dominant players of all time.
Right, one of the most dominant players of all time. Also, he was a player manager for the last couple of years, I want to say, and was like one of the first like black coaches in the NBA. Like
one of the first men to look like Morgan Freeman.
He looked like Morgan Freeman before Morgan Freeman. That's one of his more groundbreaking
didn't even
things.
Know that he was going to be Bill Russell.
Right. So, and a lot of people, I know we had somebody who was getting on us a few weeks ago talking about LeBron or Michael Jordan, and there's still people that be like, no, Bill Russell's the GOAT, this and that. So the other thing you will hear about Bill Russell sometimes, he's a little
salty.
Salty, I guess is the way I'd put it. Maybe not the friendliest person in the world.
Yeah.
So
curt.
Right. So last year at these, remember, this was the first time and they gave out a Lifetime Achievement Award to him. And basically, he was a center, right? He's a very tall man. Mm-hmm. And they had like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up there. Like they had the other like 5 centers, right? So when he accepts the award, this is last year, this is what he had to say.
I would kick your ass.
He looked at he counted them and just said, I would kick your ass.
Okay.
So then this year, they're giving out like the same award. All right. There's no audio on this one. Go to the Men's Room Facebook page and you can watch the video. And Charles Barkley like gives him a shout out and he flips him off.
No, Bill Russell flipped off.
Yeah. Charles Barkley's like, and of course, the great Bill Russell, and the camera pans to him. Now his fingers are much longer. But I mean, he just kind of goes and flips him off. Right? I mean, I'm just like, I know people don't like Charles Barkley.
I don't know why I like
Bill Russell, I get, once you get to a certain age, you know what I mean? Like, the filter's gone. It's like being a kid. Like, don't say that out loud. I don't care.
Right, exactly.
But with a kid, you don't understand.
I was just saying, but as an adult, you know better.
Yeah, right.
That's what I mean.
You just
they don't care. Kids don't know. So it's like something
same difference.
F you.
Yeah, the filter's gone.
Yeah, and I mean, right, if you've ever heard any stories about people interacting with Bill Russell, like, this really isn't surprising. And people are just like, well, he's the GOAT. He can do whatever he wants. I'm just like, yeah.
Okay, I guess so.
So, again, I think salty maybe is the nicest.
He's used up all his patience.
Yeah, and he's Bill Russell, right? So, I mean, he was famous in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Like, there hasn't been a time where wherever he goes, people aren't going to be like, oh, man, that's Bill Russell. And trust me, I've been in a restaurant where Bill Russell was there. There was not many people in it. It was breakfast time. No, I did not go over to say anything to him. But he's such a giant man. Like, there's no...
He also was
There's no doubting, like, all right, that's Bill Russell.
You know what I would do? I would approach him and just look him right in the eye and say, Morgan Freeman, you much taller in real life.
That's
go ahead.
He wasn't in the era where NBA guys would get on a private plane that had seats that was accustomed to, you know, a 7-foot individual. You know, somebody could sit down like those guys. Bill Walton talks about that a lot. Like, man, when they were playing, if you were big, it wasn't comfortable. Hotel rooms were
sure.
Nothing was comfortable.
I mean, even to this day, though, does a 7-footer, like, you got to request a special bed, I would think.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Actually, some of them, as I understand, even in the modern day, one guy was... He asked if they could push the beds together. I can't remember the player, but he's like 7 feet, whatever. And when he got to the hotel room, he's like, I realized the first time I requested that I had to specify they pushed them side by side together. So when he called in advance after that, he said, man, I need 2 beds pushed together, but honest to God, I mean, I needed head to foot. And he's like, they don't? Yeah, he was like, you know, because no one would assume that's when you mean when you say push the beds together. But he's like, honestly, you didn't fit on any bed. So like this whole, they'd have to rearrange the room, right? Move the dressers, all this crap. But he's like, yeah, they push it head to foot.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to push them side by side, and he went diagonal.
Nope. Diagonal.
Diagonal.
Damn it.
All right, this is a funny one, but we live in strange times. Jimmy Fallon in 2016 had President Donald Trump on his show, and he ruffled his hair. Mm-hmm. Since then, and I want to start all this by saying, after that, Jimmy Fallon's ratings tanked. Like, people thought, you know, they didn't like how Trump was running. They thought he didn't ask him like real questions, and it was kind of a fluffy interview. Mm-hmm. So now Fallon has come out a couple years later and been like, yeah, like maybe I shouldn't have done that, this and that. So President Trump tweeted at him, and then at a rally, he also went in on Jimmy.
Did you see Jimmy Fallon? Jimmy Fallon. The guy screws up my hair. It's going back and forth. He was so disappointed to find out it was real. He couldn't believe it. Jimmy Fallon apologized. He apologized for humanizing me. The poor guy, because now he's going to lose all of us. And he's like a nice guy. He's lost. He looks like a lost soul. Right? He gets out there. Hey, hi. Oh. So I said to him today on social media, I said, Jimmy, be a man. Just relax. Just relax.
Now, he had gone after Jimmy on Twitter a couple days before this. Obviously, this was the first time Jimmy Fallon, he addressed it. He talked about the Twitter thing, and he made a funny joke about the anti-bullying, blah, blah, blah. But then also, he just talks about kind of like how they had Trump on. And you know, you got to remember, Trump was a reality star for a lot of years on NBC.
We've always wanted to touch Trump's hair. Everybody wanted... That's all people wanted to know is, what is his hair real? Is it a toupee? Is it fake? Is it CGI? No one has any idea what is on the man's head. So I go, I'm going to get in there and I'll touch it and I'll tell you if it's real. And we've asked him for years. He's a reality star on NBC. He's been on our show 10 times. And we always ask him, he's like, no thanks. I've had his hair bark at me. I had different stuff like that. And so I messed his hair up and it flew up. It's definitely a real comb over. It is unbelievable. And it went up. It was like beating egg whites. It just kept getting bigger and bigger. And he said, he called and said, monster ratings. First of all, I've never called this human in my life. I don't have his number. I don't want his number. And monster ratings. I don't know what that. If I ever said, did I ever say? I don't think you said monster cables and monster ratings. Drink. I've never said monster ratings. I don't know what he's talking about. By the way, Donald, I don't know if you've seen my ratings the past 2 years. You didn't help my ratings. Really, thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing.
Yeah, and it's just like, even me sitting here reporting on this, it's just odd. The president going after her.
It's very
a late night show. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think about
a fluffy interview that happened a year and a half ago.
Hang on, but also, like, remember President Bush, right? I mean, the late night shows were relentless on W.
Yeah.
But I just don't remember a president going after a late night host.
Well, they got bigger fish to fry, and they don't care. I mean, the truth is, if you got thin skin, man, that's just the wrong job for you, right? Everyone in the world comes after you, whether you deserve the blame or not. But if you can't handle it, that would be the worst job to have.
Yeah, right.
I cannot think of a job where you get more criticism.
Saturday Night Live, whether it's Republican or Democrat. That's right. It's just part of the game. So, I don't know. All right. Kenan Thompson, speaking of Saturday Night Live, we obviously know him from that. Kel Mitchell, who used to be with Kenan. Some people will always say Kenan Thompson, Kenan and Kel, right? Mm-hmm. I think Kenan Thompson's done a pretty good job of...
I think so.
Right? Like, I don't think he's Kenan and Kel anymore. So anyhow, and nobody's really... I don't know what Kel's been doing. But they're going to reunite for Nickelodeon. But basically just for one night. They're going to do an episode of the rebooted game Double Dare. The episode will air sometime later. But basically, Kel says the episode was a double special because Kenan and I will be playing against each other, and we're both huge fans of Double Dare.
Okay. Anything that he's in, even when he's spoofing a game show
is
on
funny,
SNL, is some of the best stuff in my mind they do.
Kenan Thompson?
Yeah. When he puts in that role. So, I mean, in a real game show, if he's really in there, I'd watch that in a minute.
Yeah. Him hosting Black Jeopardy is pretty good.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
And
I think...
Coachella.
Ooh.
I think for Nickelodeon, too, when you're rebooting... a Double Dare there. I think you're going to have a few of these, right?
Oh, of course.
Like you've got to run the old Nickelodeon people through these ringers.
My kids are starting to get excited about it.
About Double Dare?
Yeah, because they have no concept that it existed before, and it was well before their time. But I don't remember what the hell they were watching. But the commercial, they were watching Nickelodeon as the point, and the commercial came on, and you see all the crap that goes on, and they're both looking at me like, "We love that show."
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, to this day, right? Like even when they have the Nickelodeon Awards or whatever, like just watching somebody get slimed, like as an adult, you know what I mean? There's certain things as an adult that you still liked as a child, right?
Of course.
Like if a police car or fire truck races by, it's hard not to be like, oh, fire truck, police car. Right? So I think the same thing. You see somebody getting slimed, you're like, oh man, they just got slimed.
It's kind of weird too, though. There's a whole group of people that grew up in that era, and that era's gone. With those types of shows, Nickelodeon, where it was that popular. Like our children's shows were like kind of more like it's either cartoons or NPR based.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is like a whole network, you know what I mean? Just basically created to entertain kids, which if we would have had that growing up, I mean, we'd have been all over it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
Between
it
that
worked.
and Disney and all that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We didn't have anything like that, so that's why I watched it. Because I was like, oh man, all cartoons all the time. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I remember getting up on Saturday morning. That was one of there was the shows you watched, right? Garfield. It was Garfield and Friends for me. So there was U.S. Acres as well. But yeah, there was like Garfield, then what? Saved by the Bell, not a cartoon, but there was Saturday morning cartoons you watched, and then there was those cartoons you watched in the afternoon, like Batman, like the Dark Knight,
Thundercats and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
My Saturday morning was
and like
what?
G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was on in the morning.
Was that a morning? I thought that we had Super Friends, Scooby Doo. Bugs Bunny, that was the most important one for me. And then
I remember G.I. Joe was on in the morning because it was so close to the time I was supposed to be at school. So like if my parents were like late or whatever, it was just always a victory. Like, oh man, I saw the end of G.I. Joe.
But Anna Splits did all the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
I don't have to worry about what's going on at school today, so I'm going to be late.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right, this one has a couple little things to it. But Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Yes.
They have a new special on Netflix and this and that. So they were on with Jimmy Kimmel a while ago, and they have an annual tradition they have together.
And when I think of Steve, and it's not often, but when I do, the one thing that strikes me more than anything else about you is how unbelievably pale you are in person. It's like I'm being haunted, you know. No, really. Yeah, I mean, you look like a page in a coloring book that hasn't been colored yet. Steve once got a sunburn from his Kindle reader.
Oh, Marty, that is so sweet. And I often hear people refer to you as a whole entertainer. Oh. Well, I added the word entertainer.
And may I say that you look fantastic. And I guess that's the charm of looking 70 since you were 30.
By the way, Martin Short is also the name I use when I check into a hotel and want to be anonymous.
35 years later, and you're still the jerk.
All right, so that's what they're special, which I like. They can be friends for that long and still give each other a hard time. When they were on Kimmel, they were talking about their colonoscopy, which I labeled wrong there, Robin. My apology. So that's the annual trip they do together.
Cool.
You guys and Tom Hanks, you get together every other year for a colonoscopy party.
We're very excited. We go to Steve's house around 5 p.m. The night before. We call it Colonoscopy Eve in Canada. Yeah. And it's catered. There's Jell-O. You know, there's not much you have to purge all day.
Yeah.
And then we toast the night.
And I wanted to make it nice, so I got candles. And then I realized they were way too wide and they should have been tapered.
Yeah. But no, and then what's shocking is with Steve, he's a wealthy man. Who would think he would have one bathroom? I mean, that was... by 10 p.m., the bathroom looks like day 14 of a Carnival cruise,
They make good points, though, right? Like they're going in for a colonoscopy, right? Mm-hmm. So there's not much you could eat or drink the night before.
Why have a party?
Yeah, well, I get it. But also, it's just weird, the older you get, the strange things, you'll plan to do together with people.
They got to do it. Nobody wants to do it, so if we can make it fun, then the hell with it.
But that's tough. Just the boring crap. We'll go to a hike together. Or, we'll go to the farmer's market together.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? That's white people stuff, too.
Yeah, so you got to come up with something better than that, man.
Bicycling.
Right? There's just stuff.
Bicycle to the farmer's market?
Why not?
Yes, I did this with a friend the other day. I was like, all right.
And then take the food we bought and go hiking?
We can go drinking, but first we're going to play racquetball.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. It's just I'd rather just go drinking, but you have to be like, we got to offset it. Get something in good first.
I think you got to earn it.
It's not like the old days where you just be like, let's just go slug some beers.
My doctor says this: earn your beer. If you can do that, you're all right.
You guys remember Lost?
Of course.
Yeah, that was a monster show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Till the end.
And the commercials for it, just leading up to it, were phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's an older show. Can you guess where I'm going with this one?
They're bringing it back.
They're bringing it back.
No way.
But it's going to be a reality show.
Now I'm even angry.
So Survivor.
Well, all right. They're saying it's a cross between Survivor and Lost. It's called Castaway. 12 contestants will be dropped alone in a string of inlets in Indonesia.
Huh.
You know what? Discovery has a show like this, too. They just call it Alone.
Oh, yeah. Straight up, right?
You see that
What's
show?
the other one? Naked and Afraid.
I know. These shows, man, when they, I don't know.
The Alone one that I've seen on Discovery is insane, man.
So they carrying their own equipment, their own
you get to
GoPro
bring
kind of thing?
certain things, right? And then every once in a while, the doctors come out and check on you. So some of the people don't give up, but they're just because you're out there in the middle. The one I saw, they were up in British Columbia.
All right.
So they had been out there for weeks on end, and one dude was not fat, but he just had a little more fat on than everybody. But he was so thin and frail. They were just you're out. And he was like, no, I'm about to. And you don't know
how much I eat every day, man.
And you don't know who else has sent up their rescue beacon or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're just out there, but you're filming yourself. There's a lot of the shows where you Naked and Afraid, so there's a camera crew with them. Right. Even for Survivor and stuff, there's always a camera crew around. So that show Alone's pretty cool. It's just them. And they're breaking down. You can see them losing it.
I would.
Yeah.
The first night. Give me the
See the waiver you sign off on that one. Like,
yeah.
You're dead. It ain't on us.
So this one's kind of the same thing. They're going to drop them off in these down in Indonesia. And they're
I don't want to be dropped off anywhere where I don't know the native, animals, plant life. I don't want to eat like some kind of poison berry and die just because I don't know where the hell I am.
Well, the one thing I do like
scary.
is they have to survive on washed up luggage, scattered resources, and abandoned structures.
Washed up luggage, like Coke?
Well, remember, it's supposed to be like lost. So the idea is that they've survived some disaster.
They better hope it's not like Lost.
So they're going to plant this stuff out there as if.
Are they going to plant a black smoke monster? How about a polar bear?
One condom. But I'm alone.
That was the problem.
Damn you.
They won't know at first that they're not the only ones playing. Over the course of the show, they'll come to learn that there is others.
Okay, so I can
right?
them out.
Because they're still trying to fit in like the Lost stuff, right?
Right,
Wasn't that the whole thing with Lost? Like they found others.
You think you're on a deserted island, turns out you're not. Those people are goddamn crazy, right?
And they got ribs.
Yeah. It says it'll also be mixed with flashbacks, which I'm not positive how you would do that because they weren't. Well, right, but they weren't in a real like disaster.
They probably. I'm guessing they just tape these people in their day-to-day life, right? Whether it's at work or this is my wife and kid, and I need a flashback. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Thank you, Ted. There you go. TV Time with Ted. All right, Mike's got your headlines coming up here in minutes. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go as we head down under where $91 million worth of meth was found on a ship named the Mega Prophet 2. We head to Montana where X forces man to have sex with a machete, and there was nothing that he could do. Indiana teen killed in freak accident, ironically involving the game of Hoosier fame. A man clings to the roof of a car at 70 miles per hour. His girlfriend is insane, and the NFL officially recognizes that they don't recognize doctors. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story in Montana. A man returned home from work and was ambushed by his ex-girlfriend wielding a machete. She pointed the blade at him and forced him to get onto his bed and remove his clothing. She then proceeded to have sex with him against his will before leaving the home. He then called police and used the pictures he took and the bite mark on his arm as evidence, and she was arrested on a ton of charges.
Damn. That's getting it done.
God,
take off your clothes, man.
Just looking at her,
There's a reason they broke
crazy.
up, brother. Yeah, but
you said you do not think crazy?
I don't think crazy when I see her.
Oh, no. You
Now,
based on actions.
Look at her face in that picture.
Yeah, man.
She's just been arrested because she had a machete.
Look, Mike, it's this. If you're talking to her and she shows interest in you in any situation in the bar, you're happy. Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you're like, wow, this person seems nice and attractive, and they're talking to
But
me.
I feel like within 20 minutes, you get a sense.
Yeah, but by that point in time, you realize, okay, we can't do that anymore.
I cannot be with
True.
her. You know.
So can she really call him an ex-boyfriend at that point? I mean,
well, they obviously dated. I mean,
sure. And then she brought a machete into the mix.
Have sex with me.
Hey.
Let me see your penis.
In other news, we head to Louisiana, where a woman was arrested for her conduct at a Chinese restaurant. The woman threw utensils, sauces, and racial slurs all around the restaurant before fleeing the scene, hitting the owner's car on her way out.
Damn, man.
The restaurant's crime, they made the wrong food.
Oh. Well, okay. Well, it's very specific.
Man, oh, man.
It doesn't say what kind of food that she was
That's what I'm
looking
saying.
for.
Like, I don't think that I would know what to say at a Chinese restaurant to tell them that they cook my food raw.
I guess that just had to be the wrong order.
Maybe.
I don't know, man. That's it's quite a reaction.
It just says that it wasn't made properly.
Oh, not made properly. Okay.
So maybe it was overcooked.
Maybe it was authentic.
They had
something.
What is this?
She was stopped and arrested by police. The NFL is back in the media again for their decision-making, this time because they're not allowing a player to put a prefix on his jersey.
Yeah, because it involves actual science.
I'm going to screw up this name. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Does that sound right?
Out of your mouth, yeah.
All right. He's an offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, but also an official medical doctor, and wanted to put MD before his last name on his jersey.
Sure.
The NFL denied the request, and people don't like the decision.
Or the last one.
No.
Or you can do it. Or you can suffix it. Look.
Right.
Because I had sex, all right, with a woman, had a kid, right? Doesn't make me a genius if I happen to say, like, I don't know, it's just naming the same thing you name my granddad and me. So now he's the third. Okay, because of that,
he can do it.
He can do it because I can't come up with anything other than Johnny. All right, that's great, but I went to school for 8 years and became a doctor. It's the same thing.
Right.
If he was a dentist, it should say DDS if he wants it to. It's a suffix of a name. So we didn't make those rules up.
Right.
They're already there. Like the NFL, like, okay, well, all right, no juniors then. If you can't come up with a new name for your kid, man, I can't help you. Because he's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's a doctor. You're a junior.
Just saying that there's a handful of Thomases out there, but now there's a Thomas the Third.
Yeah, and that's better than a doctor?
I think the doctor, it just seems like an easy PR thing, right? Like, you basically use colleges as your minor leagues. Right. Like, why not? The guy went to that much school. Like,
he actually went to school to get an education.
PhD.
Right.
Boom.
Because you're not going to do it much.
Got a backup It's not going to happen.
This is not a problem that's going to happen. So, well, if we do it for him, we have to do it forever. No, you wouldn't.
See, but I want him at the scene for every injury on the Chiefs.
Sure.
I want him knelt down, checking things out.
Yeah, I'm with
doing the light thing.
Let's get real, NFL. You're not going to have a plethora of people now that have MD on their jersey.
Right. No. If we did it for him, we have to do it for everyone. How about everyone with a PhD?
Roger Goodell's penis is this big. It is this big. You always know when you got a guy who's got a small penis, and he rules like a guy who's got a small penis. He's like every friend that I grew up with a small penis. Seriously, they just have. I'm not. You just know, like you can look at small penis guy. That's the kind of ruling you put up with.
Kind of fired up there, Miles.
I know. No, because you're not celebrating the guys like what Ted said.
Right, his achievement.
His achievement. Like that's
he went to
8 years of college, of expensive college.
Yeah, there's a guy for the Ravens who played for a number of years. The guy's a genius. It's okay to acknowledge people who just aren't, right, who have a little bit more going on. It's okay.
Other than just have the same name as their dad.
Yeah. That doesn't work out all the time either, Kellen Winslow. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's junior. Okay, he can do that. He can get junior.
5 Asian men have been arrested and sentenced to a lot of time in prison after they were caught smuggling drugs into Australia. They were found with $91 million worth of meth on their wooden ship that they had named, wait for it, Mega Profit 2.
I also didn't know, based on that story, that the rest of the world calls meth ice.
Yes,
did you guys know
that too.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know idea. I'm not in the meth world, so I didn't know it's called ice everywhere else. It's like ice. Okay, all right.
Shards, crystal.
Ice. Okay.
The problem is I had to read through the story. They were like smuggling 182 kilograms of ice into Australia. I was like, okay,
here in America, when I think
ice,
I think something worse. Right. I think something worse than meth.
I got nothing.
I got it. Yeah. What do you?
Forget it.
They were part of a much larger syndicate in Hong Kong and Malaysia.
Yeah, the guys with that much weight?
Yeah.
Why would you name your boat that?
Come on.
Man, I'm bringing you the facts, all right? Yeah. Come on now.
I would not name my car Black Tar Mobile.
Black Tar Heroin Ride.
Right, I mean, just like, why would you name your boat that?
Mega
Profit.
Right.
Mega Profit. We go to the skies for some heartwarming news. On a flight bound from Boston to Portland, Oregon, flight attendants were stopped by a man that is both blind and deaf. Trying their best to understand what the man needed, but to no avail, the cabin was asked if anyone spoke sign language. That's when a 15-year-old girl came forward and talked with the man by signing into his hands. Able to communicate, the flight's frustrations came down considerably, and they were able to enjoy the remainder of the flight. That's it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thanks, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for a return of Who Sucks Less. The Word is back in another round to profile this.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but until tomorrow, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.